I did a post on Instagram recently asking what kind of content you guys would like to see, and so many people were still saying makeup. I didn't realize how many people still enjoyed makeup content and like makeup tutorials. I thought the days of those were gone. I don't have all the products that I used to use back then, back in the clubbing days, but I do have this, which is an OG favorite of mine. Cover FX Custom Cover Drops in the shade G Medium 1. I used these on stream the other day for the first time in ages and remembered why I used to love them so much, because it's like just pure coverage. It's pure pigment basically, suspended in this beautiful watery formula. You get flawless coverage and like no cakiness because it's just so thin and liquidy. You need so little, and I've probably applied too much, but that's a good thing because we are doing a clubbing throwback and you cannot have too much foundation when you're going clubbing. In fact, the more, the merrier. Oh, Caitlin, thank you. I can't tell you how many times I watch your Get Ready With Me clubbing routine. Oh, I love it. Wow, okay, this foundation is way too light, but that's okay. We can fix this error. Rural. That is how you pronounce it. Rural. Rural. If you're American, it'd be, how would you pronounce rural if you're American? Rural. Do you say it the same way if you're American? Because it's such a focus on the R. Macy, I used to stay up all hours of the night watching you. I'm still as obsessed as I was 10 years ago. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. Look how light this foundation is. Yikes. We've got a lot of work to do. I can easily fix it with foundation, which I normally wouldn't do if I wasn't doing a full coverage look, because I'll be bumping up the coverage by using this method. But it's okay. We're here to have fun. Not into makeup much anymore, but I will watch Lauren always. You are loved very much by me. It's literally my first time on the platform. I'm quite thrilled to actually be interacting with you. How cool. Yeah, that's the benefit of Twitch, is that because it's a smaller audience, like on Instagram I get so many DMs and stuff, but it's hard to reply to all of them. And like this way though, because it's smaller, we actually get a chance to and like have a conversation, which is uncommon. I went on to Upwork, paid this guy to remove the background. I tried to do it myself a million times. It took too long. It just, look how beautiful he is. Look at those beautiful, stunning feathers. So that's a boy with a little white thing. It's just so cute. Glad you guys love it. I always remember the best lashes. What mascara is your go-to these days? Thank you. I have my own mascara now. The brand is Lounge Face. It's got crazy amount of amazing reviews. Vegan, cruelty-free, tubing, no smudges, ultra volume. It's become like so many people that try it leave a review saying that people ask them if they're wearing falsies or if they have lash extensions. Like genuinely. All right, so I've got two different concealers here. I've got the one that I would normally use, which is the Hourglass, which is my favorite. But I've also got the Tarte Shape Tape, which, let's be honest, is what I probably would have used had it been available back then. Would you make a waterproof version of it? Probably not. I did try, but I feel like tubing and waterproof don't really go in the same sentence for some reason. The formulas don't really work. They did send me a sample of what they called waterproof, but I could still take it off pretty easily with water. So I don't know. I just don't think it lends itself to that kind of thing. And in which case I would just be making a normal waterproof mascara, which I could do. I could definitely do. I did try a sample of a different formula from a different lab, but I don't know. It's hard because I don't use waterproof mascara, so it's hard for me to like promote it and stuff because I just don't and actually enjoy using it myself. What's the name of this makeup look back in the day? I think it was just called Smoky Eye for Beginners. I think it was it? From 8 years ago. I would say your mascara is waterproof anyway. When I cry with it, it stays. Oh, I don't want you to be crying, but yeah, it is water resistant. So if you do have a little tear, even if they're happy tears, which I'm assuming yours aren't, but yeah, it does usually, it should stay on. And if it does get too wet, then it usually just slides off, but it never leaves like a panda eyes because of that tubing delicious formula. How did you get your room that pretty pink color? I'm using an LED light. So this is how it looks when it's off. Very underwhelming. I wish I had different colours, but the pink probably is the cutest colour anyway. It's been years. I've been sick. I remember you living with Reese in a new house. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you've been unwell. Oh, which new house? Gosh. We sold a house that we bought 5 or 6 years ago. I'm just going to use the Kosas Cloud Set in Airy who set my under eyes. And then we bought a block of land down south, which is where I am now. But that's still being built, and it should be finished probably this month apparently. But for right now I'm renting. Reese and I are both renting. We got engaged last March. No plans with wedding or anything like that at this point because we're both just too preoccupied with the house, and neither of us really care about a wedding in terms of like the celebration of it all and stuff. I feel like if we spent time doing it and like made a big fuss about it, it's basically for everybody else because we both don't care. We just love the idea of the symbolism of being married more so than... Even when he calls me, like, when he says fiance, I'm like, it sounds so weird. But I said, we're going to either, let's stay as you're my partner and I'm your partner. And then when we get married, you become my husband and I'm your wife. Whereas fiance, just, I don't know why I don't like that term. It just sounds, I don't know. It just makes me sound like a little kid or something, which doesn't make any sense because it's the opposite thing you do as a kid. But I just prefer partner. It feels more like serious and grown up or something. I don't know. What else has happened? Then I started my business, Lounge Face, last year, which has been a hit, which has been amazing. And then I started streaming this year and it's been wonderful. Poopy Pants, love the username. I've been watching you since I was 12 and I'm like 20 now. That's amazing. 12 years old. What kind of videos were you watching at 12? Were you doing your own makeup? I forget that like kids these days get into makeup way earlier than they used to. But we weren't fussed about marriage to the point where people thought that I didn't want to get married. And they were like, I thought you said we didn't want to get married. And I was like, no, I've just always been indifferent about it because I just don't. Some girls love that kind of thing. Like I've got friends that like dreamt about getting married. But I'm just not one of those people. I don't like fusses. I just don't. It's the same thing with kids. Some girls, like my friends and stuff, have always wanted to be mothers. I've just never wanted to be. Reese and I definitely don't want kids. I think the older we get, the more we are. Thank God we're on the same page. This is the Fresh and This is probably one of the only products that I actually used back then. This is the Australis Fresh and Flawless Powder in Medium Tan. And this is not only adding coverage on top of something that's already like intense coverage, but it's also darkening my foundation, which I need. And then after that, I'll go on with bronzer. Would you elope instead? Oh, definitely. I don't want kids either. My first foundation was True Match. That's what you used to wear. I desperately want to try True Match again because I know I'll probably fall in love with it. But they're not cruelty free, so I don't want to even bother trying it and then fall in love with it and know that I'm not going to be able to buy it because it's not cruelty free, unfortunately. I told my mum last week I don't want kids and she told me my life would be sad. That's mirroring. That's like projecting. That's so messed up. Please do not. Like, I know it's so hard not to listen to, oh my God, it's why it's so horrible of parents to put that kind of guilt or shame or judgment on their children. Like they don't have to live your life when you make that decision. Like they get to get the cute little kid that they play with on weekends or something or babysit. And then you have to deal with the reality of it, especially if you don't want kids. I could not think of something more of a more negative impact on my life, my mental health, my prospects, my future, my relationship, everything than having children when I don't want them. Oh my God. It is hard enough if you want them. It is hard enough if you want them. I hear the stories of my friends, as I said, who have always wanted kids. It is hard enough. It is hard enough. Imagine dealing with that if you don't even want them in the first place and you only had them out of like pressure. Oh my God, please don't listen to your parents. You are doing the right thing for you. She does not have to live your life. She does not. They were also born in a different time where it's just like, that was just the status quo. You just had children. So they don't know what it's like to live a life that's like filled with a different kind of purpose. Oh, I'm glad you won't listen. Funny enough, the people who don't want kids are the ones who would be great parents. Yeah. Psh. Oh, man. The people that should think about having kids the most are the ones that don't. Like they haven't sorted out their own lives and they're going to just pass their like trauma down to their children because they haven't dealt with it themselves. And then it's just like a generational thing where each generation is dealing with the generation above them's trauma. Remember the Face of Australia powder? I sure do. I'm scared of the stress level. I have anxiety and haven't had family half my life. I can't imagine the stress of keeping kids happy and healthy. That's why I'm still undecided. Yeah. There's just like, it's just so much. Someone said, and this is a really great way of kind of validated what I was thinking, is that sure, some days like having kids is hard, like, you know, if they're sick or if you have particularly troublesome child, but if you just have a normal kid, not normal, but you know what I mean, just the average kid, it's not that the days themselves are hard, it's that it doesn't stop. It's constant. And I mean, it's extremely hard if you have a kid that is like has special needs and that demands more of your attention and care. Of course, that just like makes things a million times harder. But if your kid is like, you know, whatever, and it's still just constant, it's ongoing, and people say, oh, you know, just for 18 years. It's like, no, that's not how the world... Think about most people these days. So many people still live at home until they're in like their 20s or 30s. What if that child has like a really traumatic event happen to them? Or what if they have like mental health issues and you love them so much, so you don't want to see them like out on their own just yet. Like, it's just forever. It's forever. And that's great if you want kids. That's exactly what you want if you want kids. But if you're on the fence or it's a no, as the saying goes, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I'm not trying to talk anyone out of having kids. Like, it doesn't affect me. I'm just sharing my thought process. Now, I got this. This is just a random piece of cardboard that I happened to find. I'm going to do this trick, you know, where you get a credit card and you color in your bronzer. I'm going to use I've got two. I've got the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil light medium matte bronzer. Actually, I might use the Fenty because it's darker. This is the Fenty, something in my eye. Private Island Sun Stalker. And if you change your mind, that would be okay. Cool. Yeah, who knows? Maybe in 5 years, I'll be like, oh my God, I desperately want children. But if that happens, oh my God, just imagine all the girls in my DMs that are going to be like, I told you so. Oh my God. I did a video on TikTok where I spoke about not wanting kids, and no, I was reacting to this video where it's like, oh, you've got to watch it. This woman was talking about how people are in this deep, dark well, and they're like, and the people in the well are the ones with kids. Obviously not all children, not some, I'm not generalizing here because I'm very well aware that I've got friends and family that have had kids and love it, you know, I'm just speaking on behalf of some people. They're in the bottom of the well and they're shouting out to the people on the ground that are like child-free, saying, come down here, it's so great, you're gonna love it. And the child-free people are like, but I don't know what's down there. That looks scary. And then the person's like, no, it's really fun, trust us, you'll love it. And then they say, but I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I'm happy up here. Why do I want to go down there? Join us. That's what it feels like. Come down in this deep, dark abyss. Just because we're all here. It's like almost feels like some people just are like want to like pull you down with them. The ones that are so vocal about how I should have children, like in my DMs, I feel like are the ones that aren't confident in their decision. Because like my friends with babies have never said to me, oh, just wait. I bet you want kids. Like they know that it's not for me, and they are happy with their decision enough that they just don't care if somebody else has them. It's just so weird. I know someone who didn't want them until a doctor told them they had to have them now, or they wouldn't be able to, which turned out to be incorrect. Oh my God. Long story short, that fear made them decide to just have a child now, and although they absolutely love them, they regret the impulsive decision. That would be really, really hard. I know a friend of mine said that she knew someone that was in a similar situation, and she was in her late 30s or 40s or something. And I think she had always wanted just to be a dog parent, always. And then I think she caved for some reason, or maybe she accidentally got pregnant and didn't want to have an abortion. I don't know, something. It's the same thing where she was just so scared that she wasn't going to have a connection with the baby because she just loves her dog so much. And I feel like it's just been really hard for her. I think that's what she said. And like, I think it was one of those things where she wished she didn't give in to the impulse or whatever the situation was leading up to that. Holy crap. No, stop. If you look far away though, no, that is too sharp. Let me just buff the edges a little bit. I remember why I love this so much, because it does give you the illusion of like a really high cheekbone. And granted, I was like 8 years younger back then. So I probably did have high cheekbones too. My husband always says it's my body, so and then when he gets to decide if I want to birth a kid or not. Hannah, yeah, exactly. That's what I spoke about this on another stream as well. It's like the woman gives all of herself to this process. Like even if like her body primarily for 9 months, and then the birth, and then the aftermath of what the baby did on the way out. But then also the baby needs the mother so much. Obviously, there, you know, if you're not if you're not breastfeeding, it's a lot easier to share the workload. But like, because I work from home, I know that it's easier for me to take time off. Reese has a full-time job, so a lot of the care would probably fall on me. Even though Reese would be that's pretty much the only reason it's sad that Reese and I aren't having kids, like from an objective perspective, is because he would be the most incredible father. Like he would be such a good dad, such a great dad, and he's such an incredible partner to me. The most selfless, like he's just so generous with his time. He does everything for everyone. He's an angel. So if I was gonna have kids with anyone, you bet it would be with him. But even still, like the woman has to do so much of the work. And I know that's a general statement. I know there are some men who take more, who, you know, the woman works and the man takes care of the baby. But let's be real, that still isn't the majority at this point in time. So it's just a lot, you know, it's just a lot. The hardest thing about kids is you don't know you have one. You don't know until you have one if it isn't for you. I have a 1-year-old and love her so much, but also could have lived my entire life not having kids. Exactly. That's the thing. It's like it's like jumping into that deep well. You don't know what it's going to be like until you're even in the deep well. And once you're in the well, you can't get out. I was watching someone must have sent this to me on TikTok, but an actor, he was like, it's so funny how before you have kids, everyone in your life is like, have kids. It's the most rewarding, beautiful, incredible, humbling experience you'll ever experience in your entire life. You've just got to try it. You'll love it. And then as soon as they have kids and that person's like, guys, this is really hard. They're all like, ha, see, it's so hard. It ruined my body. This whole journey has been so hard. It's so difficult. And like, that's when they're honest, when it's too late. That's why sometimes it does feel like they're trying to suck you into something. It's so weird. It's so weird. And I still haven't been able to darken this foundation enough. I'm still trying, but it's not working. In person, it looks like the right shade. I wonder if it's just because I'm too close to the light. I like kids, but I really like being able to hand them back to their parents. And that's what Reese said. Because I was worried when Reese and I started dating. I was like, you know, you've got this huge family. You're so good with your nieces and nephews. Like, are you sure you don't want kids? Like, I don't want you to just be saying it because that's what I want. And you know, you'd rather be with me than not with me type thing. And he's like, I don't know how many times I can tell you this. I don't want them. He's like, I get the best of both worlds with my nieces and nephews. I get to play with them. I get to have fun with them. And then once the day is over, they go back to their parents who deal with the aftermath. It's the best of both worlds. We both have so many things we want to do. And just, oh my God, I just cannot imagine having children. And people say like, oh, I don't understand like how you could not want kids is the most amazing thing ever. Yeah, how passionately you feel about that is how passionately I feel about the opposite. It's just the fact that like the world is full of diverse people. Imagine if we all wanted the same things, had the same personality, had the same goals. Boring. Look at that crisp line. Look at that crispy, crisp line. I am really motivated by business. I love the hustle. I just love everything about it. I love it. But then like my sister, complete opposite. Couldn't care less. Is not motivated by that at all. Does not find fulfillment in their work, in her work. And then that's pretty much also most of my friends. They find fulfillment in like family and spending time with their loved one. I mean, I find fulfillment in all those things as well, but to a different degree, you know? We all have different motivators in life. And then like the hustle culture that is so popular on TikTok is like shaming the women that are like stay-at-home mums or that work for somebody else or work a 9 to 5. It's like, not everyone finds their fulfillment and their purpose in life through work. And to make them feel like they're less than because they enjoy they enjoy doing something because, you know, work for a lot of people is just a necessary evil. It's what we have got to do to survive. Leaving that, at work and then continue on with their life, which is what they derive purpose from. Whereas what I do, it's 24/7. I don't get a chance to switch off. If it's not one thing, it's something else. But that's fine because I enjoy it. Same thing with kids. You're always doing it, but if you enjoy it, it's fine, you know? You could imagine your life without her now, but you miss everything about your pre-baby life. Exactly. And people don't understand that those things are not mutually exclusive. You can absolutely love and adore your child and want them to be in your life and like not regret them one little bit, but you can regret motherhood. You can not enjoy motherhood. You can love your children, love your child to death. You could want to jump in front of a bus for your child, but you may not like being a mother or motherhood. And pressure keeps coming even if you have one child. The next questions are, when are you having number 2? Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It doesn't end. And that's what people with kids tell me. It's like, you'll have a kid and then it's, when's baby number 2? When's baby number 3? So it's like, no one's just ever satisfied. Everyone's so, oh God, let my uterus heal first. My thing is, I believe people shouldn't have kids if they're not ready to properly take care of them. Amen. I'm certainly not ready to take care of a child, and if I end up never being ready, then it's beneficial to them because I didn't bring them into a world that their parent couldn't care for them. Snap. And that's why people do say, like, people that don't want kids are probably the best ones to have kids because they're actually self-aware enough. Anyway. And I've said to people I don't want any more, then they try to guilt you by saying, oh, but you are robbing her of siblings. What would happen if you said, actually, I have a medical condition and I'm not able to have kids. I've desperately tried to have more children, but I can't. What would they say then? Should be so ashamed of themselves. Then they'd say, oh, well, try doing this. This is what I did and I was able to, like, then they'll just give their other unsolicited opinions. One of my friends have kids. I thought they would be around all the time and they just aren't. Nobody also prepares you for how your friendships change. I am the only one who doesn't have kids in my friendship group now. Minus one of my friends, but she's moved back to Queensland. So I'm the outlier. But because I don't really like being, like I like to observe conversation and my friends are so funny that I just love to listen. Like, I ask questions and I contribute. I'm not just like sitting in the corner quiet, but I just love listening to their stories. But obviously things change because they have to leave places earlier or they get there later because they're kids, or like the dynamic changes. But it's changed in such a way that it doesn't bother me because I like to get home quickly. Like, I like to be home, so I love to see them, and then like we get to see each other. And then they've got to head back. But I'm like, okay, I'm happy to head back because, you know, I'll just go back to what I was doing anyway. So it hasn't really changed a whole lot. But obviously sometimes you can't really contribute to conversations, but I just don't care because a lot of the time I don't really necessarily feel the need to because I just like to listen. But it would be really hard if you were the only one that had kids. They wouldn't understand. If they're all on the same page, they wouldn't understand, what you're going through, which would be really hard. Lounge face is your baby. Amen. And little snizzy pips. I've said to Reese before, I feel like if I had a kid, if something just came over me, because I'm in part of those childfree subreddits. I'm using champagne pop. Sorry, I've been taking a while with my makeup, but I'm a part of those childfree subreddits, and I just lurk. I never post or anything. Even regretful parents is really interesting, and I feel like a few people have said, those of you who are older and don't want kids. No. Someone was worried because she's gotten a little bit older and she's like, all of a sudden, I've always never wanted kids. But all of a sudden, I'm like, my brain is changing and like I'm seeing kids and I'm feeling maternal. But like logically, I don't want kids. But like, you know, I'm getting this weird feeling. And someone replied to her and said, I had the same thing when I think it was like her early 30s or something. And she just kept reminding herself of all the reasons why she doesn't want kids and why kids aren't like right for her. And now that she's in her 40s or 50s or something, she's like, I'm so glad that I did that because I couldn't imagine my life with kids. Like, I'm so glad I didn't give into that random passing feeling. And that's what she said as well. The feeling passed. And the whole biological clock thing is not real. That was also made up. That was made up in like the 70s, I think, or the 80s. There was an article. I think a man wrote that. I think it was a man. So like, I think, God, imagine if something came over me and all of a sudden I was like, no, I need to have children. Wow, this white balance has gone weird. Let me turn off the light and turn it back on again. Yeah, imagine if that happened. I feel like, and I wouldn't say this lightly, I wouldn't throw this term around lightly. I feel like I would get postnatal depression because all the things in my life that bring me joy come from my freedom, and I need peace and quiet. Like, I need silence. I genuinely feel like if I had a kid, I would be such high risk for that. Such high risk. I've had 3 and still get asked when I'm having another, and my youngest is 7 months. You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. I'm gonna do my eyes first. I'm gonna just do my eyes. I'm gonna skip my eyebrows for now because those can wait, and it's fun when you tie in the eyebrows afterwards. No one should be forced to have kids if people really don't want them, then that's their choice. Sick of people judging so much. Wondering if they'd happily pay for everything you need to buy and raise a child. Yeah, and what about all the children that are already without parents? What are all the other kids in foster care? And like the anti-abortion thing, it's like, so you only value this child when it's unborn. As soon as it's born and it's real, you don't care about it, and you just want to save the next unborn child. Yeah, they don't care about the unborn baby, they care about policing women's bodies. If your OGs are here, you are waiting for her to bring out the red cherry lashes. I actually had them in my collection really recently, but I went through and got rid of them all because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to need these anymore. I should have kept at least one pair. My hairdresser yesterday told me to keep up with my salon shampoo and conditioner in between visits. Ah, so good. Yeah, someone on Instagram sent me, when all of this stuff was blowing up about the Sunsilk shampoo, someone sent me the link of the Instagram stories that a hairdresser was posting, and someone had asked her a question saying, have you heard all the Lauren Curtis Sunsilk Chaos thing? It's so funny hearing my name in, like, third person like that. Anyway, and like my full name, so weird. And she said no, and then she went and looked into it, and she literally started the video by saying, I don't know anything about like the science behind it, and so that she's not interested in that. I'm like, okay, well, then should I just disregard everything you're going to say after it? Anyway, whatever. And she's saying, we ask our clients every single question about what we use. We ask them like every single question under the sun, and just because we don't want I get it for sure. You want to make sure that the products aren't going to, like, if they're using a certain product, maybe whatever. And she's like, and if we had someone who was using drugstore shampoo, we would turn them away because it's just not worth the risk for us. I've seen foils melt off, blah, blah, blah. And she probably didn't expect me to even see it, but I only saw it because, someone had sent it to me. And I messaged her. Oh, in the video, I do a cut crease. Not a cut crease, a sharp edge. I should probably do it now, actually. I messaged her, and I was like, you do realize that... No, I didn't say it like this. I said it actually quite politely. Because I am polite, but it was just frustrating. I don't know if this is going to work. I feel like this is not going to work because this isn't flimsy enough. I need sticky tape. I don't have any close to me. I said, my DMs are currently full of women that are saying that they lie to their hairdressers because of the judgment that hairdressers pass on to them if they don't use expensive products. So realistically, you're probably working on a lot of women who are using drugstore products, like supermarket shampoo, but are just too afraid to tell you. And you haven't had any issues. And I said, correlation doesn't equal causation. You could have a client who is using really expensive shampoos and conditioners, but she's taking a certain medication. Maybe we went into this on another stream. Maybe she's just had dental work done. Maybe she's gone through chemotherapy, probably unlikely. Maybe she's, what were the other things? Certain supplements have certain metals in them. Like, there are so many things that could be causing a reaction. Just because you think it's one thing and you're obviously unwilling to educate yourself on why it happens in the first place. Instead, you're shaming people for a decision that actually isn't the root cause of... Anyway, I'm rambling. But yeah, it's just... I didn't see her reply. She did reply, but I didn't see it. I don't really have any interest in getting into a back and forth. I just wanted to make a point, which was that, like, your judgment doesn't prevent you from what you think it's preventing you from. It was judgment, because it was like, I would turn them away if they told me they were using X, Y, Z. Do you know how embarrassing that would be? Oh my God. Whoops, I just made a really strong line. Do you know how embarrassing that would be if I was about to go in and get my hair done, and then she asked me what product I use, and I said, imagine if I couldn't afford anything, and like, a color service is so expensive as it is. Imagine if she turned me away and was like, sorry, we don't work on people that use supermarket shampoo. Look, I'm sure they would do it in a nice way, but I would be mortified. And I plan on telling my hairdresser that I'm using supermarket shampoo because I have nothing to hide, and If she wants to do a test strand, let's do a test strand. Are you going clubbing on a Tuesday? No. Oh my God. I'm going to use black now. This has gone a little bit too purpley for me. Ain't nobody got time for salon shampoo. Yeah, especially when it makes your hair feel average. K18 on the other hand. Bow. Although some people love and swear by it, which is the reason I bought it and tried it in the first place, because I was like, wow, everyone says this is amazing. Not everyone, actually. It's quite divisive. Olaplex isn't divisive. Damn, I should have brought that up a little bit further. Can I match it? Oh, I'm taking a risk. I heard K18 is more effective than Olaplex, but I haven't tried it. I have tried it, and I wish I didn't buy it. I used it for the right amount of time. I applied it in all the ways I was meant to, and then ways I wasn't meant to, but to see if it was better. I used it consecutively for like 5 days or whatever it was, or 5 weeks or something. I didn't notice a single difference. A single difference. Just gonna try and like darken this corner bit up, and then I'll go in with a smaller brush when it's a little bit easier. Cringe, but in high school I was really badly bullied. My mum spoke with your agent / manager about me meeting you because I spent so many days watching you on YouTube. Oh my God. Ultimately I dropped out of school and now I'm a makeup artist. I'd say thanks to you. Oh my God, that's so nice. Your manager was lovely about the whole thing and said you were sending me love, but you were traveling for work, so couldn't meet. I should get mum to find the emails. Oh, that's so cute. I mean, I'm sorry you were going through that though. God, high school sucks. Smoky red I used to do. Oh my God, I need to do that one again next. That was probably one of my favorites. On blue eyes. Oh, and on green eyes too. That would look so nice. Tell you what, if I ever release eyeliners, I am not releasing pencils. Same thing with lip liners. I am not releasing pencils. You have to sharpen. So annoying. So annoying. So annoying. Then you also need like one sharpener for dark gel pencils and then one for lip liners. Otherwise they like mix together. Never. Why not just make a retractable liner? I don't understand why most aren't retractable. Yeah, that's what I agree. Like, am I missing something? Are you still friends with Chloe Morello? Oh, these questions every time. I think we'll always be friendly, but we're not like friends, close friends or anything. Do we talk? No. Do we purposely not talk? No. We're just living different lives. She lives on the opposite side of the world to me. She's got her own stuff going on. I got my own stuff going on. You know, just like I had friends in high school that I was best friends with at one point that we don't really speak now. Not for any particular reason, just, you know, life changes. I'm gonna use Lounge Face Lash Baby. I'm not gonna bother curling my lashes because they're just gonna be covered by, listen to my voice breaking, gonna be covered by falsies. Old colleagues, exactly. You look like Avril Lavigne right now. I mean, I'll take it. Perfect mascara for this kind of look. Volume, drama, separation. I was loving those TikTok videos of Avril Lavigne, like people trying to recreate her grungy, oily eye look. Lauren, do you do meetups anymore in the US, in Idaho? God, imagine. I feel like you'd probably be the only person that would turn up. I feel like I don't think I'll ever do a meetup ever again. Too publicly humiliating if people don't show up. And I feel like the times that I did do them was like when people probably would show up. So I'm going to leave on a high note. I feel like it's not worth doing a meetup unless it's like, you know, it's going to be unless you're selling tickets and you can cap them at a certain thing so you know what you're getting yourself into. Because if you have just like what I used to do, which was like meetups at shopping centers or something, you don't know if it's going to be like 100 people or 10 people. I've done lots of meetups actually, usually with brands, which is really good because then you get the like security and it's just handled by somebody else so you can feel a bit more safe. Do you still like drinking, going out? Nope. I've always been obsessed with the way you apply mascara. I feel like you do it so differently. Ah, really? Love that. Well, this is my own mascara. Lounge Face Lash. Tubing, vegan, no smudging, lots of volume, amazing wand. I might pay a lot more attention to mascara than other people do. I spend a lot of time on it because I want to make sure that each lash is like defined really nicely. That's why I also use tweezers. The eyeliners really help tie the look together. Yeah, it'll look a lot better when I've got lashes and when I've got my brows done. Oh, this is not going to stick to my brows. I would be using my Lounge Face products, but then, as I keep saying, they're not released yet. my. I need to add lashes, but I'm not really looking forward to it. These are my favorite lashes of all time, so it's a big deal that I'm using them because I don't think they sell them anymore. And I could only get them through PR, like the brand was sending these to me. I couldn't even buy them in Australia at the time. Pure lashes in Flirt. If anyone has any lashes like these, I need to take a photo of these so I can find a dupe for some other brand. Bit crusty because I've had to reuse them, but see how they're like really long and spidery, but then have short bits? They're stunning lashes. So bummed. I would buy 1,000,000 of these. Just putting the glue on. This is the Huda Beauty glue, just the first thing I had. Evidently, again, I don't wear lashes ever anymore, so I don't have any like brand new glues. Why do these look so much more intense than I remember? It's because I'm not used to wearing lashes, that's why. The clapping Get Ready With Me's were life. Ugh, that was so much fun. Did I actually film them before I went clubbing? I can't remember. I don't think I did. Did I? I can't remember. Or was it just like, it was what I would... No, I think I was getting ready to go clubbing. How do we have the energy to do all the things we did when we were that age? Ugh. I've said this before, but I remember when I asked my mum, if you could go back to being like my age, and I was probably like, I don't know, in my early 20s then, would you? Like, would you go back and, you know, when you were like young, going out and stuff? And she's like, no. And I was like, really? You wouldn't? I couldn't believe it. And now that I'm older, granted, she was like probably 40 or 50 when I asked that. 40s maybe. I'm still only 30, but, oh gosh. No thanks. Love it. Great memories of those times, but yeah, no thanks. Why is this color balance so off? I need to set it on one white balance, not auto white balance. This is always the harder eye because I'm covering myself. I'm surprised I even remember how to put false lashes on. I remember when I was a makeup artist with Bobbi Brown, like I came from Benefit and do they sell lashes? I can't even remember if they sold lashes, but I just couldn't put, I don't think I could even put lashes on myself, but I had to do it for Bobbi Brown. And so I'd always, bless her soul, my lashes stuck. I would always run over to the counter across the counter from mine, which was Shu Umara, or Shu Umara, I don't know how to pronounce the name. And she was so sweet and she'd always put the lashes on for me. The lashes on the customer. How bad would that have looked though? Like to have like you're getting your makeup done by someone who can't do who needs a different makeup artist or a different like employee to put them on. So I don't think I wore them myself then, so I didn't have enough experience putting them on. Do you ever miss doing makeup on other people? No, I did not enjoy doing that ever. I never enjoyed it because it always took me way too long. This is Pamela Anderson vibes. I'm gonna use this Morphe lip. That was the Urban Decay Naked 2 lip liner. This is the Morphe cream lipstick in Flirt, and this is super nude, which is what I would do back then. There goes all the lip liner I just put on. Until I can fix the white balance off stream, I just want those of you watching on Twitch to see the actual color of the makeup because you can't really get a good idea. I'll just leave this light off for now. Voice keeps breaking. This is giving me 2016 Loz and I love it. That's what I was going for. So much less flattering on Twitch. The color's just so cool toned. It's so annoying. This is a bronzing pigeon, guys. This is what my sister painted in the background. Look at the little baby. This is a boy. It was time for me to wind up. We did almost 4 hours. That is way more than I thought I would end up doing. Thank you so much. What a successful stream. It was so much fun. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Wonderful day. Wonderful day. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. You're the best. See you on Friday, Australian time. Bye.